Ladies and gentlemen, we are willing to talk to you and make a compromise. We have one person to speak for all of you. We would prefer to get all of your opinions. If you would like to talk with us, we're more than willing to make a negotiation like we did yesterday where everybody's happy. We support your right to support the postal workers, and we get that. However, we have to operate within the criminal code. We will enforce it if necessary, but we would prefer to speak to you.
Good morning, this is Andre Faust. It's now December 2nd, I think, December 3rd, 2018. I should be in bed sleeping and having some of those nice dreams. However, the news that's come in is that in Halifax, 6 people were arrested for protesting in front of the gates of the post office sorting station in Almond Street. Anyway, it's not the postal workers themselves who are striking, but the supporters of the postal workers. Actually, what they're protesting is the back-to-work legislation that was enforced to get the postal workers to go back to work and stop the rotating strikes. So what has taken place is that a group of supporters decided to protest the gate to keep vehicles from going in and out. One of the big quotes, the quotes, "Nothing in, nothing out." That's what a picket line is all about. And they were very, very effective doing that. However, during the course of the evening and through the torrential rain that Halifax was experiencing, police, the strategy was very interesting because they used a female officer who had a non-threatening voice and tried to speak calmly, but that's just a strategy to try to break up the protest. Anyway, that didn't quite work out the way that the police wanted. One thing to note about police, this is not an anti-police story. Police are they serve 2 functions. One, they can be very beneficial to a society and yet at the same time undermine all of democracy. So anyway, they've asked people to move their vehicles. They were saying they'd be abandoned. They would be treated as abandoned and seized. They asked them who owned the whatever they called them pallets. Of course, nobody owned the pallets, but they were very functional to hold up flags and whatnot. Now, out of the 6 people that were arrested was a good friend of mine and comrade, Tony Tracy. Him and I had, back in the 90s, had participated in many demonstrations in Ontario, fighting for social causes. So this story does touch me because it's one of my fellow comrades who's gotten arrested. Now, up to this point, they say the charges are being laid, but they haven't told them what the charges are. And from what I understand, they are being held overnight and will be arraigned sometimes tomorrow morning. I believe at 8 p.m. is when they will all be arraigned. But I suspect, like the Rexton riots with those demonstrators, when it came time to go to court, charges were dropped. What we have to keep in mind is that these were not the postal workers that were striking, so there wasn't anything illegal that the postal workers themselves were doing. It was supporters that were doing the protesting, and it wasn't just for the postal workers, but the Trudeau government has enforced the back-to-work legislation against the postal workers. So for the postal workers to strike, it would have been, of course, illegal. But for normal civilians to, come forth and protest, well, that is beyond Trudeau's reach for now. Probably what will happen is that next week they'll pass another law to prevent that from happening. And that is one of the things that I've seen, that I've read historically and that I've historically experienced, is that there are given periods of time that our politicians will pass laws to diminish the power of the people. Now, it is our right to strike. It's been struck down many times at the Supreme Court of Canada, yet they keep on, invoking this piece of legislation. Of course, we know when things go to the Supreme Court of Canada, it can take quite a while for it to go through the system and the case be actually heard, so it's quite time consuming. With that said, there are matters that Stephen Harper has violated, which is still on the dock. It's waiting to be heard, so it's a lengthy process. Now I stand by my brothers and sisters in the solidarity movement. They're doing the right thing. I'm here in Fredericton. All that I can do to give support at this point in time is to produce a video, and through the course of this video I will be giving some footage of what transpired down in Halifax. The video was taken by Tony Tracy before he was arrested. Anyway, this is my part. I'll show you some excerpts of the video so you can get a feel to what's going on. And there are power in a union. Keep up the fight and never stop. Eventually something will give. Thank you and good night. Or good morning, I should say.
Hey, I like that. What's going on?
Well, we're here at the Canada Post depot, the postal sorting plant on Almond Street.
Yeah.
We're on all gates, back and front, nothing in, nothing out. I'm here joined by a few dozen of my very dearest and closest friends and comrades at the back gate here on Monaghan.
Yeah.
And Monaghan is just off Yonge Street in Halifax, and folks are trying to find us.
Right.
So pull off Yonge Street right across from the Steak and Stein.
Yep.
And come on down and join us. At the front gates, we have lines up at the front gates. We've got a whole bunch of folks on Almond Street, but we're surrounding this plant front and back, and all sides. We do have a bunch of police officers who arrived and have threatened arrest and all kinds of things.
Oh, they threatened arrest.
They have. They actually, I was asked to put my hands behind my back at one moment, but he seemed not all that interested in enforcing that at the moment. But he'll be back at some point, I'm sure. We've got workers who are obviously leaving the plant, and that's fantastic. Getting home for the evening, having some sleep. But we've got this gate here at the back gate on Monaghan, and we're not going anywhere.
That's right. Solidarity, brother.
Thanks, Lori. Hey there, how you doing? No, absolutely,
All right.
for sure.
Here's the other situation. Can I talk without that on?
No, but people in here, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's all good.
All
You
right.
go ahead.
So, what we're going to do now is a criminal code violation where you're blocking the area. What I would like to see happen is everybody get on either side, and you have to let the trucks in because that's the law, and you show your support to the workers as they drive in. We cannot have this blocked. It's a criminal code violation to block the mail.
What's the violation?
Criminal code.
But what is it? Can you?
It's under the Canada Post Act. You can't block the mail coming in.
There's no such thing as a Canada Post Act.
Well, Johnny, is there a Canada Post Act?
No. Like, you go look up the law first. Come back to us with the law.
We are ready for a fight. We defend the right to strike. We are ready for a fight. We defend the right to strike. We are ready for a fight. We defend the right to strike.
We are ready for a fight. We defend the right to strike.
We are ready for a fight. We defend the right to strike.
Do you want to tell us why you're here tonight?
I'm here to support the postal workers, and I think that the back to work legislation that has been passed both provincially and federally is crushing our right to strike and to do work action. And I think that's a fundamental right to any unionized environment.
Thanks so much, comrade. Anybody here want to talk about why they're here tonight?
Huh?
Why are you here tonight?
We're here because we support the posties. We're here because, you know, if they do it to the posties, they'll do it to all of us, and we have to stand up for each other and build a movement, a social movement of unionists that look out for each other and have each other's backs and don't cave at the slightest sign of pressure, right? So they're using every trick they can to undermine workers and our rights to strike, and so we're here to be here in solidarity because workers here can't be here, so we're here for them. We know they'll be there for us on our picket lines later, and that's what this is about.
Anyone else want to talk about why they're here tonight?
Here tonight because every time the government tries to legislate people back to work, the Supreme Court finds it's unconstitutional and they keep doing it. And if no one stands up to the government about legislating others back to work, they can just do it to everyone. So what does the right to collective bargaining, what does the right to strike even mean in a society where the government can just force you back to work whenever they feel like?
Fantastic.
I'm sorry, who's the spokesperson?
There's no spokespeople. You can talk to me.
Oh, hi. I'm Staff Sergeant Nichols. Can we step over here?
Yeah,
What's your
for
name,
sure.
sir?
I'm Tony. We can be reading
Hi,
it.
Tony.
That's okay. I'm good.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Tony, we have kind of a safety situation happening.
Yeah,
because
no,
we have
I know. There's a
traffic
lot of police cars there.
No, not the police cars, but
Oh, no,
we have
the-
trucks backed up that are going to be backing up into Yonge Street.
They should probably leave.
It's a dark night,
I agree.
and we're going to have to clear the roadway here. So I'm going to ask you to please move off the roadway so we can get traffic moving. We also have a public building here where people are trying to get in and out of the entranceway, and it's
certainly the
blocked
public
now.
building can fully come and go, except
So
for the
I'm
police
gonna
cars
ask you to-
there.
Are these your wooden pallets?
Wooden pallets?
Yeah. Are these your pallets behind you?
Sorry, I don't see any pallets.
Can you turn around? I'm just asking if this is your property because.
Oh no, that's not my. No, that's not my property. I didn't bring that.
Does this property belong to anybody? These wooden pallets? We're going to be clearing those out of there. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. All right. Nobody wants them. Is what you're saying? Nobody wants them? Okay. Just want to make sure before we move them out of the way.
No, I'm sure.
We can't have the street blocked because it's going to create a safety situation.
I agree. I think the
Bad night. I don't want any
the
public
safest thing,
put
to
in
be
danger.
honest, is for folks to park right around the Tim Hortons around the corner.
I don't want you in danger either.
I agree.
And
Tim Hortons around the corner.
and
Great
I need to
spot
get
park.
traffic moving, so
Totally
I'm going to
understand.
ask.
Right around the corner of the Tim's.
All right. We're going to have to clear the roadway here. I'll get you to move to the side, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the respectful manner.
Absolutely. Much appreciated.
Listen, I appreciate you're here, but I just
Nothing in, nothing out. That's what a picket line's about. Nothing in, nothing out. That's what picket line's about. Nothing in, nothing out. That's what a picket line's about. Nothing in, nothing out. That's what a picket line's about. Nothing in, nothing out. That's what a picket line's about. Nothing in, nothing out. That's what a picket line's about. Nothing in, nothing out. That's what a picket line's about. Nothing in, nothing out. That's what a picket line's about. Nothing in, nothing out. That's what a picket line's about. Nothing in, nothing out. That's what a picket line's about. Nothing in, nothing out. That's what a picket line's about. Nothing in, nothing out. That's what a picket line's about. Nothing in, nothing out. That's what a picket line's about. Nothing in, nothing out. That's what a picket line's about. Nothing in, nothing out. That's what a picket line's about. Nothing in, nothing out. That's what a picket line's about. Nothing in.
So Tony, in order to get traffic moving, so it's backing up onto the main road there, and I don't want to see a car accident
No, I don't
occur.
either. I think we should
So
turn around and go
I'm
to
going
the
to ask
gym.
all these people to move to the sidewalk. I would appreciate your help if you could help me with that.
I don't think I have any ability to help you with that. But I
If you
think
could just ask people along with me, maybe we could do it together.
I
and
don't think
we'll
we're going to
ask
be doing
people
that
to
tonight.
move to the
But,
side.
no, we're not going to be doing that tonight. But I've encouraged folks to park their
Traffic
cars around
is
the
gonna
Tim
move,
Hortons off to
okay?
the side.
I can't allow the safety of the public to be
I
endangered.
totally understand what you're saying. I completely respect that.
That's what a nothing in,
Choice not to move on the road? Is your choice not to move on the road?
I said, no, I'm moving.
Thank you. Off to the side of the road, please. I'd
Yeah, of
appreciate
course.
any cooperation.
Of course. I'm taking this side now. No, I want this side. I'm being arrested. Okay, it's not resisting. I'm not resisting. Okay,
Yeah, I should have moved several times. Did not cooperate.
that's okay. I'm not resisting. Not resisting. Not resisting. It's okay.